Today we're going to look at some mentally, physically, and emotionally heartbreaking worst moments for Stewie. There are some terribly worst moments that shook Stewie. Watch the complete video to find out which moment you think was the worst.
Old people are gross, no matter how cute they try to make them look on Desperate Housewives.
I'm sorry, Mr. Griffin, but I can't baptize little Stewie today. It turns out our last shipment of holy water is tainted.
This is one of those classic Family Guy episodes on number 7 where Stewie finds himself caught up in the ridiculousness of Peter's antics.
What are you doing? Oh my god, this is almost as bad as my bath with Kathy Bates.
The Griffins aren't exactly known for their religious devotion, but when Peter's ultra-Catholic father, Francis, drops by for a visit, he immediately criticizes the family's lack of faith.
Because I love this family, and I don't want my grandson to burn in hell.
In an attempt to get his father off his back, Peter agrees to have Stewie baptized, even though it's clear that no one, especially Stewie, wants any part of this holy fiasco. Francis, being completely obsessed with the idea of saving Stewie's soul, doesn't even listen when the priest warns that the holy water is tainted.
Tainted? Holy water? How would that happen?
Instead, Francis goes rogue, taking matters into his own hands and baptizing Stewie himself in what looks more like a drowning attempt than a religious ritual. Stewie's reaction? Pure horror. We're pretty sure that's not how baptisms are supposed to work, but with the Griffins, nothing ever goes according to plan. The real kicker comes when poor Stewie actually falls gravely ill from the tainted water.
Oh my god, Stewie! Stewie, speak to me!
Don't take me to a black doctor.
Now stuck inside a quarantine bubble, Stewie is physically miserable and emotionally tortured. To make matters worse, Brian, always ready to add insult to injury, takes this opportunity to relentlessly prank Stewie while he's trapped. Brian's pranks, ranging from popping Stewie's bubble to mocking his misfortune, are enough to make anyone feel sorry for the kid. Usually, Stewie's scheming ways make him a target for karma, but this time it's clear he doesn't deserve any of it.
Hey, Lois, how about we try Sears? They got good stuff. I'm with them now. No girls allowed. What the hell? I want this button.
Perhaps it's this lump on the side of your neck, sir.
In the bizarre yet hilarious episode Vestigial Peter at number 6, Peter Griffin discovers that he has a vestigial twin named Chip, a tiny, underdeveloped version of himself that's been hiding inside his body for years.
Hi, everybody! Oh my god, it's a little me!
While most people might be shocked or horrified by such a revelation, Peter, in typical fashion, is more intrigued than disturbed. Chip is surgically removed, and surprisingly, the two brothers hit it off at first.
Hey, everybody! Look who's walking! Yeah!
Chip is the ultimate optimist, full of joy and energy, which is everything Peter is not, making for some pretty amusing contrasts. But as Chip's sunny personality begins to win over the Griffin family, it doesn't take long for Peter's petty jealousy to kick in. Suddenly, his new twin is getting all the attention. Lois, Chris, Meg, and even Stewie prefer Chip's company to Peter's. And when the family actually throws Chip a birthday party in place of Peter's, the jealousy boils over. Peter being Peter, his solution to the problem isn't to work through his feelings or try to get along with his twin. No, he decides the only logical course of action is to get rid of Chip permanently by feeding him to a dingo. Naturally, Peter's plan goes as poorly as you'd expect. In an absurdly chaotic scene, the dingo Peter hires to devour Chip gets a bit sidetracked and ends up grabbing Stewie instead. Poor Stewie gets dragged out of the house in the jaws of the wild animal, while the rest of the family doesn't seem too concerned. In fact, Peter doesn't even react at all, proving once again that his fatherly instincts are, well, lacking at best. This moment of Stewie being casually ignored while he's literally being dragged away by a dingo is peak Griffin family dysfunction.
The world is gonna end at midnight tonight. Y2K.
Y2K.
Peter Griffin's paranoia about the Y2K bug at number 5 leads to a series of hilariously disastrous events. Peter, in true Griffin fashion, believes the year 2000 will bring the apocalypse, so he builds a bunker to protect the family. It turns out his paranoia wasn't entirely misplaced because as the clock strikes midnight, everything goes haywire, and Quahog is thrown into a post-apocalyptic world. Somehow, thanks to Peter's bizarre foresight, the Griffins are among the few to survive the nuclear fallout. While other residents of Quahog don't fare as well, Quagmire and Cleveland get fused together into a horrifyingly hilarious hybrid, and poor Joe gets stuck to his driveway, unable to move. Stewie takes the biggest hit in this apocalyptic episode. When the family goes scavenging for supplies, Stewie falls into a pool of toxic waste. The result? He mutates into an octopus-like creature with tentacles. Of course, this being Stewie, he handles the mutation in stride, but things get weirder when he starts laying dozens of eggs. Despite the bizarre and alarming transformation, Stewie's new tentacled form and egg-laying habit seem to go completely unnoticed by the Griffin family. Peter is too busy trying to establish a new Quahog, where he immediately appoints himself mayor, and the rest of the family just shrugs off Stewie's predicament. Once again, poor Stewie is left to deal with his strange, often life-threatening conditions on his own while his family remains blissfully indifferent. There's a memorable scene at number 4 that takes place in the snowy outdoors, where Brian pulls a classic prank on Stewie. Brian convinces Stewie that a patch of yellow snow is flavored like lemon, tricking the innocent baby into tasting it. Despite Stewie's usual brilliance, his childlike trust in Brian leads him to fall for the prank, much to Brian's amusement. As soon as Stewie realizes what he's done, he reacts with disgust and horror. It's pretty much a Family Guy classic that Stewie's family either can't understand him or, more likely, just chooses not to at number 3. Seriously, can anyone in the Griffin household comprehend what's coming out of that baby's mouth?
Let me out of this stink-filled corduroy dungeon!
At this point, Stewie probably wishes they'd ignore him just a little bit more, especially when Peter, in his infinite wisdom, decides the best way to overcompensate for his insecurities is by shoving Stewie into his pants. Yes, you heard that right. Peter thinks hiding his baby son in his trousers will somehow make him feel like more of a man. Lois doesn't even notice Stewie's absence until she spots him wiggling around in Peter's pants. Talk about a family crisis.
Oh boy, that was close.
Will you please hurry up? It's 100 degrees out here. You're a worse parent than Britney Spears.
Stewie's love for his fair, porcelain baby skin takes a hilarious and painful turn at number 2. After forgetting to slather on the sunscreen, Stewie discovers the joys of tanning and becomes completely hooked. He gets so obsessed that he ends up spending every day in his own tanning bed like a tiny, desperate sun worshiper. But of course, being the baby genius that he is, Stewie falls asleep during one of his tanning sessions and wakes up looking like a lobster on fire. His skin is so red, it's practically glowing, and he can't even move without feeling like he's frying in a microwave. Things take a darker turn when he thinks he might have skin cancer, but in classic Family Guy style, he's back to plotting world domination before you can even say SPF 50. And don't even get us started on the time Peter decided to one-up himself by storing Stewie in his stomach. It's like Stewie's life is a never-ending game of Where's Waldo, except the mystery is inside Peter's gut.
Excuse me, ma'am, your little girl dropped her teddy bear.
What? Little girl?
Stewie finds himself completely offended when a woman at the grocery store mistakes him for a girl at number 1. His ego bruised, Stewie decides it's time to prove just how manly he truly is, and what better way to do that than by joining a football team?
Only the most manly thing ever. A little something called American football.
The only problem? He's about the size of a paperweight compared to the rest of the players, but that doesn't stop him from strutting onto the field. Despite the coach's warning that he's likely to get obliterated out there,
All right, let's do it. Football game. Then, reminder, showering at home.
Stewie dives into his first play, and surprise, surprise, he gets absolutely rocked and concussed in a way that would make even the toughest NFL players cringe. Naturally, Brian and Chris try to cover up the concussion because nothing says good family values like hiding brain damage from the rest of the family. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Which of these moments proves to be the worst for Stewie? Which scene had you shaking your head the most? Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell icon so you never miss out on more hilarious Family Guy content. See you in the next one.